I'm back. I'm back! Yay! Okay, seriously though. Did you miss me? I knew you did. Because I miss you guys. My faithful public. And today, we're going to head down to Progressive Metalville to hear an album that I've been a little skittish about listening to, but I told myself I was going to, and I did. But we'll get to that in a minute. Now, first, a word from our explanation department. You're probably wondering why I'm not reviewing the new Judas Priest album. Well, here's the thing. I've never been the biggest Priest fan. Come at me with your pitchforks and torches, I will not run! Okay, seriously. I respect the heck out of them, and I understand their position in the metal genre. In fact, Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight are two of my favorite songs. But I've just never been able to get into them as a whole. Plus, I really wanted to do Between the Buried and Me, which is another band that, again, I've never been able to get into as a whole, and I really wanted to challenge myself with reviewing one of their albums. So, we're going to take a look at their new one, Automata I. Now, Between the Buried and Me are said to be one of the greatest prog metal bands to ever hit record store shelves around the world. Heck, I almost picked up the Coma Ecliptic once, but I just decided not to. I've heard some of their stuff before, and their album Colors is said to be a true masterpiece. Now, I've never heard that one in full, so I'm going to reserve judgment on that one until I do. However, Automata I has to be one of the most brilliant, yet confusing metal albums I've ever heard. The song lyrics make no sense, yet they're structured in a way to where they actually, well, they do make some sort of sense. The song structures make no sense, yet they're played in such a way to where the listener can get into it. The album starts off slow, and then builds to a very high point before tumbling back down at the end of the song Blot. It's almost as if you're climbing a very high mountain using the path that has the most twists and turns to it. No bones about it, these guys do not take a straight approach to heavy metal, and it's very interesting. Now, the high point of the album? The brilliant, yet confusing musicianship, and especially the drumming. I've always had a lot of respect for Blake Richardson, even though I've never heard a full Between the Buried and Me album before. And here, he shows his drumming chops to their full potential. The time signature changes and the fills are extraordinary. The guitars add in that layer of heaviness that would be missed on other albums, and even the keyboard work is interesting. It all works together to make something that is truly fascinating to listen to. Now, the low point of the album? The vocals. They are all over the place. Maybe this is just a Between the Buried and Me thing that I haven't gotten used to yet, but they're everywhere. Sometimes they're rough, sometimes they're clean. Now, normally, that's something I can get behind. I'm a huge Killswitch Engage fan, and I am also a proud owner of the last Periphery album. However, the vocal structures here, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like the William Shatner of vocals, with the constant pauses. For instance, on the song Blot, there's a lyric, I've been waiting. Now, there's no problem with that as a straight phrase. But when you add in the completely unnecessary pause between I've and the rest of the phrase, then it becomes something that seems to be confusing simply for the sake of being confusing. We're going to use this, and we can't be like other bands where they just use it straight up, so we have to put this pause in between there. Makes no sense to me. In the end, Automata I would be an Album of the Year contender for me if it were instrumental, something like Animals as Leaders does. The musicianship is brilliant, the vocals are understandable, which is something I like, but they're bad simply because they jump all over the place and you can't follow them. This is a brilliant, yet confusing album that will be one to satisfy progressive metal fans for years to come. Automata I gets an 89 out of 100 on the Yearly Perfection scale. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe, and let me know what you thought of Automata I in the comments. Now, I'm going to be out of town again this weekend, but I will have another review for you guys next week. It just might be a little later than usual. Also, I want to thank y'all for pumping up the views on the Beloved Antichrist video. It's so awesome to hear you guys' opinions on the new Therion album. And I wanted to let you know that if we get that video up over 500 views, I will review a show that I'm going to go to in May that I am stoked about going to. I'm going to see Ghost, one of my favorite bands of all time. They're coming here to Chattanooga, and it's going to be amazing. Now, remember, when leaving comments, if you disagree with me, wonderful. If you think there's something I missed, let me know. One thing we can all agree on is that we love metal. I'll see you next week, and we're going to review the new The Crown album, Cobra Speed Venom. Have a great week, guys.